Hey guys, this is Matt out in Oregon. Look, I am doing this video because I feel it's important. And if you've heard anything about Fusion GPS and Christopher Steele, if you haven't, Fusion GPS is an intelligence firm. They're a private intelligence firm. And Christopher Steele is an ex-MI6 British intelligence officer. Now, he's done work with the American government, with the British government, and he's been, by all accounts, a good provider of intelligence over the years. He's a trusted source of intelligence, at least from the American government and British government, and I assume allies. So anyway, Fusion GPS and Christopher Steele were hired by someone in order to get a dossier on Trump. Now, what I found was a little strange is why was this dossier even composed? Why was somebody investigating the connections between Trump and Russia? And I thought, I mean, the government's not doing this, and so who is? And why is Christopher Steele just, did he hear something, or is he doing this for his own reasons? And I thought, why would an intelligence firm be doing this, doing this side job for no reason? Somebody hired them to dig up dirt on Trump. And so that's what made me start to look into who hired and hired them and who and why. And so I found a story by David Corn. And if you know who David Corn is, if you don't, he is a frequent contributor, at least he was, on MSNBC. I don't watch them anymore, really, but he was on there quite frequently. He's a writer for Mother Jones, and he actually interviewed Christopher Steele from Fusion GPS. And what Corn reported was that the source that had hired Fusion GPS to do this work about Trump and Russia was anonymous. Well, that's only partly true. Now, I don't know if Corn was trying to mislead the readers, or if he just generally didn't know, but Fusion GPS, at least Christopher Steele, knew that this was an anonymous source, but that the people that had hired him were affiliated with someone within the Republican Party. Now, the Democratic Party is something else, and I'll get onto that. I'll go on to that in a little bit. But the Republican Party was the one that hired Fusion GPS and Christopher Steele to do, looking into Trump and his Russian connections, his Russian business deals, things like that. Actually, I'm sorry. It started off with just Europe. And then they were focusing Steele and GPS onto looking into Russia specifically. Now, shortly after this, Steele got this information about Trump and this shocking information. Now, if that seems a little convenient, it did to me too. Now, what the information was is that Trump had been compromised by the Russian government. So what they did was, according to the information that Steele received, Trump was over there for a beauty pageant over in Russia, and he was in a hotel room, and he did some things with prostitutes involving urination and, other lewd sexual acts. But these acts were recorded. And so Russia pulled him aside while he was there and said, we have this information, we have this videotape of you, doing this stuff. So anyway, they pulled him aside and they made certain deals with him in order to try to, blackmail him, essentially. And so this was back in 2015, before anybody knew that Trump was running for president, and no one had a shot. I mean, no one thought he had a shot in hell of winning. I mean, nobody thought that when he was running the time before, because he ran for president one other time. and no one thought he'd have a chance this time. So it seems very unlikely that the Russians had any sort of knowledge that he would win the presidency and that they could blackmail him. But anyway, so Steele brought this information to his anonymous source within the Republican Party. Now, he gave it to them, but he thought it was so troubling, and he knew that he'd given it to this Republican source, and they hadn't brought it to anyone else, like the FBI or anything, police, whatever. So what Steele did was he didn't tell the Republican source. He took the dossier to the FBI himself. Now, another copy of that dossier got into the hands of John McCain, and I don't know how that happened. Anyway, John McCain took it to the FBI as well. Well, this was during the primary, and there was, 3 candidates left other than Trump. There was Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, and Jeb Bush. Now, they were all getting, the business from Trump. But Trump was specifically picking on Jeb Bush, making him look like an idiot. And so, I don't, this is speculation, but, well, this isn't speculation. There's other people that have speculated, and this is my speculation as well, that Jeb Bush was actually the one, someone affiliated with his campaign was the one that actually hired Fusion GPS. Now, Bush's father was the head of the CIA and a former president, H.W. Bush, and then his brother was also a former president as well. Now, I don't know about W. I don't know if he'd be smart enough or crafty enough to hire an intelligence firm to, dig dirt on Trump, but I could see Papa Bush doing that. Now, I don't know. I don't have any proof of this, but anyway, Trump won the primary. So the contract with the Republican source was cut. And now, who comes a-calling but the Democratic Party? And they want the information. Now, I don't know if GPS and Christopher Steele contacted the DNC thinking they could double dip, or if somebody within the Republican Party was so angry at Trump that they wanted revenge and they gave it to Hillary campaign, the information or whatever. But anyway, the Democrats are the ones that contacted Fusion GPS or vice versa. They connected somehow, and they and they got the information. They got the dossier. Now, to my knowledge, not only do you have an intelligence officer and John McCain bringing this information to the FBI, but I believe that the 2 political parties brought the information to the FBI as well. So now you have the 2 most powerful political parties, and you have a senator and a trusted British intelligence officer that, that was trustworthy in the past. And yet the FBI did nothing about this. So if the FBI thought for 1 second that Trump was going to be, even had a 1% chance, even a 0.00001% chance of winning the presidency and being a Russian puppet, there is no fucking way that they're going to let that happen. They would have sat him aside. They would have said fake a sickness or drop out or do whatever you got to do, but you ain't going to be president, sir. We have issue with this Russia connection thing. And yet they didn't do anything. Now, they probably saw that it was flimsy and that it was politically motivated, but I can't say exactly why they didn't do anything about it. But they didn't tell the American people about this either. So I can't imagine that the FBI would be that careless with this, if there was a real story here. Now, the big story is, and the reason I'm doing this video is because not only the Democrats, but the Republicans hired a British spy and a intelligence company, a private intelligence company, to dig up dirt on one of their political rivals. Now, I don't know if that's against the law, but it's certainly morally questionable. And not to mention that no one's talked about this. Now, the DNC stuff's come out, and I'm not here to defend the DNC, but the fact is that I think we need to know what the truth is, and I think that we need to know if both political parties were to blame. Now, that's the story that I have, and if you have anything more to add to it, please let me know. If anything that I said was incorrect, please let me know. I hope that this video gets out. I've tried to send this to a lot of people, and I haven't heard anything, people with platforms and stuff, so hopefully you'll see it. and you'll look into it too. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. Take care. Have a great day.